What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Takeover with your girl, Shay McCray, here as we are inside the room with State Representative Brandon McGee today. But today is a special day. When I tell you it's special because we are all being celebrated. And when you are celebrating phenomenal women, it's always a great day because you get nothing but great rewards from that. So, Brandon, thank you so much.
What's going on?
How are you?
I'm good. But first and foremost, thank you for joining Inside the Room with myself, State Representative Brandon McGee, where we discuss politics, leadership, and culture. You already mentioned, Shay, today is a special segment. We are celebrating not only you, but we have some really amazing women in the room today. So today we'll be hosting what I'm calling Leading Women in Our Community on radio, politics and education, and religion, while discussing an array of topics in celebration of women's history. So I really just want to jump right on into
Please do.
what we're doing. So all of our listeners, y'all know this is going to be a little awkward for Shay, but y'all going to hear some of what she's been doing. And I'm just so honored that I have a chance to celebrate my co-host. So as always, join me and gather people from all walks of life to step inside the room in efforts to gain perspective on how we can educate and uplift our communities. So Shay, you know, I always enjoy starting these conversations off with a quote.
Yes.
And today's quote is by our former First Lady. And it simply says, and I quote, I always seek, hold on 1 second. Hold on. I always, when I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less and less important whether I am afraid. And that is not by First Lady Obama, that's from Mrs. Lord. So that was really powerful. Again, it says, when I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less and less important whether I am afraid. So today, this particularly pays homage to all of the women, especially you women that are on this call tonight, who have tirelessly fought for justice before us and encourages us who see it to continue strong in the struggles today. So women, especially my wife and my two daughters, are powerful and will always have a place here on Inside the Room to showcase the ongoing battles for equality and progress. So to honor to honor Women's History Month, we have none other than Ms. Shay McCray, Dr. Zilla Matari Fluker, PhD, Laverne Ramsey, an MED. We have Taniqua Hughley, who also is an educator, masters. They'll all explain who they are. And last but not least, we have Brianna Johnson. She's a community activist. So I want to kick it off with Lady Laverne Ramsey, just to tell us a little bit about who she is. And the first question I have for you is, who is your hero? Who influenced you to get to where you are today? Lady Ramsey?
I'm so glad you asked that question because my hero was actually my mom. My mother is a phenomenal woman. I'm from the Bahamas, Nassau, Bahamas. My accent may give me away later on, but I grew up there and my mother was a teacher. She was not only a teacher, but she was a youth leader in the church. So we always had young people in our house all the time because they always wanted to be around her. But the thing that impressed me most about her, after she retired from education, she started her own school. And every year she will build this school up until she got to the place where she had kindergarten all the way to 6th grade. I thought that was phenomenal. But the best part about that school was we didn't have to advertise because the kids did so well that the word of mouth advertising built that school. And today the building is still there. It's run by someone else, but that's the legacy that she left. She said that even in her old age, even when she was older, she was still functioning. She was still moving forward. She was still alive and active and doing stuff. And that's my hero, my mom. I just get excited to talk about her.
So does she have a lot of influence on you becoming an educator yourself and an author?
I would think so. My grandmother was also an educator.
Oh
and
my.
My
Okay.
mother was an educator. Yes. But my mother always, she was a person who had something to say, you know, and when she began to speak, you would listen to her. People just would listen, because she always had something uplifting, something to take you forward. And most definitely, she is my hero. And, you know, that's the person I think about often when I'm trying to make a decision. I think, what would she do? How would she act? How would she react in this situation? And yes, that pushes me forward. That propels me just to be the best woman that I can be.
Thank you so much. I'm going to throw it over to Shay McCray, media show host. She is a part of the Takeover, or is the Takeover, if you ask me. And she's also CEO of Lachey Boutique, among other things that's happening in her life. Shay, talk to us. Who's your hero? Who influenced you to get to where you are today?
Wow. You know, is first of all, I want to say thank you again, Brandon, for honoring us. That this right here is so important. And Miss Laverne, your energy exudes so much power. And we believe everything that you're saying. I promise you, we do. We do. We believe everything you're saying. My hero really was my father, you know, my father who believed in me, my uncle, and then a little bit of Wendy Williams now. But, you know, I speak from that. And when I say Wendy Williams, I do laugh, because here is this woman. I grew up in the streets of New York, and Wendy Williams was banned where she couldn't even leave out of her workspace alone or enter alone because they had a hit on her. And here it is at the age 40, they put this woman on national television and she did not stop. So I wouldn't say as far as like wanting to, you know, reenact her same style of media, but her willingness to never give up despite what the odds was, what she was up against. And that's what kept motivating me to be in this space I am today. And my father, because he was just never a yes man, so it was just took me so hard. It was just so hard to really like say, yeah, you know, like, oh, I'm proud of you. And then my uncle, of course, being the man that he is as well. So those are my heroes.
Wow. So let's quickly, before we take a break, let's quickly jump down to Brianna Johnson. She's an activist. She's also the communications director for the firm. Brianna, who's your hero? Who's your shero? Talk to us.
So I would say my mother is my hero. My mother was a homemaker for the majority of my life, but she really expressed the importance of establishing stability and nurture and support in the household. So those are things that I make sure that no matter what I'm involved in, I make sure that my home is stable, and I prioritize that. On the other end is my father. My father also taught me to be that assertive Black woman in terms of going out there and being in the mix and causing trouble, and also being just your biggest advocate, and just interjecting where, you know, yourself in places where you want to see change. And so just I have like that very domestic but very outside type being in the struggle, as Asada Shakur would say, perspective from both of my parents. So I would say my mother and my father.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Moving right along to Dr. Zilla Matari Fluker, VP, Vice President of Institutional Advancement there at Central State University. And my big sister, Dr. Fluker, talk to us. Wait, you're on mute. We love Zoom on FUBU Radio.
It wouldn't be classic if you didn't have an on mute moment, but thank you so much for having us. I mean, what a unique gathering on a Friday afternoon just to kind of connect and have meaningful dialogue. I think we've lost the art of meaningful dialogue. And so I'm always excited about opportunities like this. I'm Zilla Fluker, and I'm here at Central State University, but I consider myself an HBCU ambassador. And I will tell you that when I think about heroes, and I think of them in context, because I have a bunch of them, but one that I like to recognize, especially in this setting, is Mary McLeod Bethune. When I think about as a woman, right, to establish what is now a university, but an institution to help people advance, right, to help people reposition their socioeconomic status, to help people learn how to go help more people help themselves. For me, as an HBCU advocate, ambassador, champion, whatever you want to call it, I think her story is very unique and very inspirational. When you work with limited resources and limited access and prevail anyway, that's indicative of having a fortitude, emphasizing the word fortitude, from within that allows you to prevail and have significant impact. So she would be the hero that I would highlight in this context.
Thank you. Last but not least, my co-laborer in the housing space, Taniqua Hughley. She's doing some amazing work there at Open Communities Alliance. She's the outreach director there, but she also is founder of Black Girls Achieve. Talk to us a little bit, Taniqua, I call her T. T, talk to us a little bit about who's your hero and who influenced you to get to where you are today.
Thank you again, Brandon. Thank you for allowing us the opportunity to connect with one another and to share with the world all of the great work that we're doing. I think FUBL is a special place, right? It's a Black radio for us, by us, and the fact that all of your panelists today are Black women is important. So thank you. My shiro, I'm gonna say the exact same thing as Brianna and Mrs. Ramsey. My shiro is my mom. So my mother was a high school dropout and she had her first kid her senior year of high school, but you would have never known it. And she made things happen, and she ended up having 3 girls who went off to college. And while I was growing up, she worked for the New York City Housing Authority. And she retired from there just last year. And so growing up in New York City as Shay, but in Queensbridge, North America's biggest projects, she saved us. And when I say saved, that means she made sure that we had everything that we needed. She made sure that we went to school. She made sure that we were protected. And she just served as a mom and a woman of inspiration. And in her job, she worked as a caretaker, meaning she cleaned buildings, pretty much a janitor, right? And she did that with grace. And she spoke up for her colleagues. She spoke up for her tenants. So that's kind of where the advocacy piece comes in from. But she was also really kind, despite having to clean these buildings more than one in a day. And you know how big the New York City projects buildings are in New York City. She came home and still took good care of us, ensured that we had those values of what it meant to be a hard worker and a Black woman. So that's my shiro, and I thank her for everything that I do today.
Well, thank you so much. And if you're just tuning in, inside the room with myself, State Representative Brandon McGee, we switched it up a little bit. Shay is actually being interviewed as we celebrate Women's History Month. And we have a few amazing talents, females, leaders in the room today. Dr. Zilla Matari Fluker, Laverne Ramsey, Taniqua Hughley, and Brianna Johnson. So I think at this time, Shay, you think we should pay some bills?
Definitely pay some bills, definitely. And I'm looking forward to hearing more from these lovely ladies. You guys keep it locked. Don't go nowhere. It's your girl, Shay McCray. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Takeover with your girl, Shay McCray. And if you just now tuning in, we are inside the room with State Representative Brandon McGee. And today, he is honoring the woman, the special woman, the woman who represent the voices of, just being impactful, just so many things like leaders and just entrepreneurs. And it just, I love it. I love it, Brandon. I love it. I love what you're doing here,
I love it too. And
wait, before I move on, one of the things I do love, I have to give you your crown too, okay? We always talk about giving the woman a crown. We gotta give you one too. You always represent with your wife and children. Love it. I see how the first segment you talked about your wife and your children. Yes, love it. Honoring them too. So I respect that. Thank you.
I appreciate that, because I wouldn't be where I am if
Oh
I
my
didn't have
goodness.
ladies who supported me and understand where I'm going. But that's reciprocated. I do the same with my wife, who is an attorney, and she's doing some big things in the health space. And my girls, who are running my life, 1 and 3, Bailey and Silver, and I'm just so excited. But my mom, this show is dedicated to my mom. I was actually gonna invite her to come on, but she would have told me a few things if I'd done that. So she'll just hear her name, Dawn McGee. Thank you so much for sacrificing and making sure that myself and my siblings are able to do what we do. So thank you.
I think that means she probably would have told us a few things about you. I think you was hiding the secrets. What you ladies think? I think that. I don't know, Brandon.
Oh, God. So again, if you're just tuning in to Inside the Room with myself, Brandon McGee, you missed the first segment of some amazing women sharing their testimonies, if you would, on their sheroes, their heroes who have impacted their lives so much that they're able to kind of share their stories. So again, we have none other than Miss Shay McCray, media show host. We have Dr. Zilla Fluker, VP of Institutional Advancement there at Central State University. Laverne Ramsey, she's an author, educator, and First Lady of the Rehoboth Church of God here in Connecticut. Taniqua Hughley, Outreach Director, Open Communities Alliance, and also the founder of Black Girls Achieve, and coordinator. I forgot one title, coordinator of Small Business Night Out, which is huge here in the state of Connecticut. And last but not least, Miss Brianna Johnson, activist and communications director for the firm. So ladies, welcome back, welcome back. I want to ask you a 2-for-1 question, all right? The first question is, in what pursuit of equity and your overall journey to reach goals, what would you say is sort of the biggest worldwide problem facing women of color today? And Shay, I want to start off with you.
This is so interesting. I'm sorry for the long pause, but I want to say maybe colorism within our own race. I mean, I don't know. Like, that is the biggest issue right now. I don't know.
It reminds of our last a couple segments ago. We were talking about Megan.
Absolutely.
And some of the things that she was faced with. But talk to me from the perspective of like the space that you're in and entertainment and media. What are some of the challenges that you've faced in pursuit of attaining, your goals as a Black woman, a biracial woman? What are some of those things that you've been faced with, or perhaps women in your position are being faced with?
So you work harder when you're not as promiscuous in my field, in my field, as well as the tone of your skin. I'm gonna be honest with you. So if you're not of a lighter shade, or a size in the underwear, or a size in the top wear, it's just, you have to work a little harder to achieve that particular position or even to be seen.
Brianna, let you answer the same question. What are your thoughts there?
I would say, in pursuit of reaching, I can really only talk from my own personal experience, but I actually think that it's the attack of the Black woman in the work environment. Trying to mobilize in any kind of white sector, I think, as a Black woman is difficult because you're dealing with microaggression. Oftentimes as Black women, we have our home life where we have responsibilities at home, and then we also have work responsibilities. And sometimes when you go into the work environment, it can just be a really uncomfortable place, but then we are susceptible to a lot more when it becomes like when we think of things like colorism, just antagonistic behavior, and yet we still have to kind of fight through that to be able to excel, to be able to mobilize within that company, or just to have experience to mobilize in our society as a whole. So I would say the attack on the Black woman, microaggressions that exist within our work environments, predominantly white settings, and I think it's one of the biggest issues that I have combat as a Black woman today.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to cross over to the education space. Dr. Fluker, could you enlighten us a little bit on that pursuit and sort of your overall journey of reaching your goals, like the biggest dilemma, barrier to facing women of color? What's your perspective? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think there are lots, right? My nature is to want to go to pay equity, but I think you've got to go more surgical and go to something very specific. And I'll go with something a little unusual, and I'll say it in a different way, but I'll say it clearly so people can really hear what I'm saying. We often talk about this idea of bringing our whole self to work, right? And including your whole self, because your whole self is of complete value. But I think the biggest challenge that Black women will face is what I call balancing the magic. The majority is the majority. The majority has an opinion. The majority opinion rules. And therefore, we have to strike a balance in not being someone else, but in wearing a mask, both masks, right, these days, and understanding how to be calculated and intentional. And I always tell people that you have to prove to the powers that be that you're there to first help them meet their objectives. And then and only then can you bring things to the table. You know, and when I say that, I'm not saying compromise who you are. Don't be somewhere where you feel like you have to be compromised, but don't be silly and not realize where the power influence comes from and how do you play to that. But once you're able to prove that credibility, that you're there tied to whatever that organization's goals are, then you can bring anything to the table. You actually are able to bring your whole self and then some, and then you're able to actually let the magic do what the magic does versus being in a situation where you're shut out completely and not able to actually thrive in that environment.
Again, if you're just joining, we are having a really, I wouldn't say deep, but it's so thoughtful conversation with some amazing women as we continue to celebrate National Women's Month. And you are in for a treat. Moving right along to Taniqua.
Brandon, before we move on, you know, I know it's this your moment, but before we move on, key word she stated.
What was that?
Both masks nowadays. I just want to highlight on that. You can carry on.
No. Unpack that a little bit. Because I think that's important.
We talking about the mask and the mask. She's talking about walking into the workplace, have to put on this other mask. And then we also got to wear this other mask. And they're telling us, come on, girl, go ahead and preach, girl.
That's a good point. I'm telling you.
We with you. I heard you. I just wanted to make that stand out.
Thank you.
That's what's up. T, what about you?
Yeah, I think one of the main problems that Black women are facing today is, wrong perceptions and the lack of support. And Shay touched on this a little bit, right? And it's coming from all ends. It's not just from our white peers, but it's also from our Black female peers, and then sometimes even our Black brothers, right? So I think the perceptions is hard because it can be in the workplace, it can be, you're walking to your car, it can be in the grocery store, and all of these negative perceptions or stereotypes that one may have about you then rolls on into what your interaction looks like, what type of work you may produce. And unfortunately, that has a huge impact on our next steps and our next words. So I think that's hard. And then when you talk about support, unfortunately, fortunately, I have a really good support system from males and females. But what often happens is that, especially in the workplace, unfortunately, women don't know how to interact with one another and support one another, and it's a competition, especially when you're educated, right? And unfortunately, it's not that many of us when you work in some of the spaces, especially my field of education and housing, right? And most of your colleagues are white. There's just that competition and lack of support and sisterhood. So that's what we come up against. And I'm gonna use this platform to say that we need to support one another. And I'm fortunate to be on this platform with women who I know will continue to support Black women.
Again, you're joining Inside the Room with myself, State Representative Brandon McGee, and we're celebrating women from all walks of life, especially Black women. Lady Laverne Ramsey, I want to hear your perspective on this. And again, the question is, in pursuit of equity in your overall journey to reach goals, your goals, what would you say is the biggest problem facing women of color today? Lady Ramsey?
I've heard a number of good words, support, that when we were talking. But my thing about being a woman, we don't know how powerful we are. We are the nurturers. So we can play a big part in raising children that are powerful, that are strong, that are hardworking. And so we have to recognize the power that we have. That's a great power, because it not only speaks to where we are today, but it speaks to the next generation. And we have to raise our children in a way that they will be able to stand on our shoulders and be able to see further than we can see today, and also be able to go further than we are. And so I think when we recognize that the power we have, and the way that sometimes that women present themselves is very important. You don't have to be loud and boisterous. You don't have to be the one that tries to rule over whoever's in charge, but you can stay in the background. There's a saying that the man is the head and the woman is the neck. And the woman is the neck. She has the ability to turn that head where it needs to be. So what I'm saying,
Let him preach.
so what I am saying is, you have a voice. You have something to say, and you know you should be heard. Make sure that you are heard. But here's how to do it. Do it in wisdom. Okay? You don't have to be there. The perception is out there. The perception is on television. When you see how women are treated and women react on television, on certain television shows, they think that's how all of us are. But that's not the case. So here's what I'm saying. Don't prove to them what they're saying about us. Go out there and in your wisdom, impact wherever you are. When you enter a room, you take charge of that room. Here's how you do it. You know that you are a child of the King. You are a woman that God made, and you are fearfully and wonderfully made. And each woman on this panel, each one of us is different. Each one of us is unique. Each one of us has something to bring to the table. So whatever it is that you bring to the table, you do it. You do it with excellence. And you be consistent. And just in that way, you're going to be noticed, and you're going to move to the front of the line. I'm saying, but the way that we are going to be most impactful is the way that we raise our children, the way that we bring in the next generation, the thought processes that we give them, and what we send them out into the world with. That's the most important thing. So women, we are powerful, and we don't have to be loud.
I see Shay itching in. So Shay, just come on and do it. Come on.
You know, it went back to your quote, that your opening quote. Did you hear her? Mm-hmm. The being powerful. We don't know our own strength. What was the quote again?
When I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less and less important whether I am afraid.
Absolutely.
So like I said, Pastor, we believe you. But, you know, and to finish that off, to piggyback on what she said, you know, perception is based on the perceiver. So always remember that being loud and boisterous is not what we're trying to perceive, you know. So we have to always remember what we're trying to perceive at the end of the day. Brandon, are we done? Do we have one more? I feel like we have one more.
We got one more. Let's do one more.
That's right. Okay.
Well, you got to take us to our break. You know they love
That's right. Okay. You guys keep it locked. Don't go nowhere. because we are inside the room with State Representative Brandon McGee, and he is giving us our roses right now. I like roses, Brandon. You guys keep it locked. Don't go nowhere. Welcome back to the Takeover inside the room with State Representative Brandon McGee, and we are receiving roses right now. I thank each and every one of you, beautiful ladies, for joining us today, for just giving, exuding your happiness and your joy and your energy and your knowledge and wisdom to share with the world on this platform with us. We appreciate it. And with that being said, Brandon, you can go ahead and take it from here so we can go ahead and close out. We spent a lot of time. Look, I'm not mad
we
at
did.
the time.
I know, but
good time, sometimes it's bad time. This is the good time right here.
This is good time. Like FUBU Radio, thank you so much for giving us this space. And I also celebrate all of our female hosts that are doing great things on the radio station as well. I want to turn it over to Dr. Fluker. This is our little round robin of questions. Please share with us some last and final comments, and also ways folks can remain in touch with you, and give some advice to that little girl who's listening, that young professional that might be listening. What advice do you have to share with them? And you're on mute.
My advice is simple. Don't stop, get it. A great lyricist wrote those words once. And
that's what's up.
That's what young folks need to do, is just stay the course. There will be challenges, there'll be roadblocks. Those are intentional. Those are refining moments to take things to the next level. Don't let anything distract you, was what my quote was yesterday. I'm Zilla Fluker. You can follow me at Zilla Fluker, ZILLAH, FLUKER, Instagram, Facebook, and the 9. Looking forward to more of these kinds of conversations.
That's what's up. Thank you, Dr. Fluker. T, I'm gonna throw it up to you. What's some advice, and how can folks remain in touch with you?
Yes, my advice is you can do it. Don't settle. Don't compare yourself to white people. You can do it. Don't compare yourself to the white girl in your class. Don't let no one tell you no. With that being said, I am the founder of Black Girls Achieve, so follow our organization's Instagram at blackgirlsachieve_, and then you can follow me at Taniqua_Hughley.
And that's TANIQUAHUGULEY, Taniqua Hughley. Next up, Brianna Johnson. Talk to us a little bit. What tips you want to give our young Black, brown girls that's listening to us inside the room? You have the floor, madam.
I would say there's a lot, but I would say be intentional with everything that you say and do. I think a lot of times people kind of just, we kind of say things without prior knowledge. And that doesn't require you to have a college degree, but just to understand what you're saying or why you're saying it, or why you're doing something, and make sure that you're doing it so that it aligns with your morals and it's not offending anyone else in any way, shape, or form. But just be very intentional and observant and rational with your thought pattern and your actions.
That's what's up. Thank you, Bree. How can folks follow you? What's your handle?
So on Instagram, I am the.original.ebony, THE.ORIGINAL.ebony,
Ooh, girl, that's long.
Yeah. Also on Facebook, I'm Raylan, but that's because I'm a social worker. I don't want to put fun on.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So that's it.
That's what's up. Thank you so much for joining us. And last but not least, First Lady Ramsey. Actually, Shay, you're gonna be last. So First Lady Ramsey, what mic you gonna drop now? Hold on, you gotta unmute yourself. Don't you just love Zoom? Go ahead.
Okay. I think I would tell anybody, a young lady, I would tell you to do it afraid. You may have a little trepidation about what you feel that you want to do in life, but break through the fear and go ahead and do it anyhow. You can, okay? I believe in you. You can do it. My book is Chosen and Beloved. It's a book to leading ladies. All of you ladies would love it. To first ladies, because that's my experience. I have a leading ladies league that I function with. We do fashion shows. We do fundraising activities. Our missions is Haiti. and also human trafficking. Those are the two areas that we're working to support right now against human trafficking. And I love dealing and ministering and praying for leading ladies because we need that prayer support. So that's me. I love, I'm the wife of Bishop Jonathan Ramsey of the Rehoboth Church of God. And I love the people of God. And anytime you can, visit us at Rehoboth Church of God, 1170 Blue Hills Avenue in Bloomfield, Connecticut. My email is ladylramsey@gmail.com. God bless you.
Thank you, Lady Ramsey. Now we know where the producer of my show, Inside the Room, Nathan Ramsey, gets it from. He gets it from his mama. Last but not least, Shay McCray of The Takeover, thank you so much for all you do. How about you close us out and you share a little tips and some wisdom for our young ladies, and also how folks can follow you?
Well, I want to say, be intentional. Is key point. Anything that you do, because it has to make sense, right? With that being said, she talked about being afraid. I taught that in class yesterday at the girls' conference. Getting on stage, being afraid. So what? Throw that fear and make that your energy to throw it out there for them. So that I love that. This has been amazing. Thank you so much, Brandon, for allowing us to be here and share your platform and bringing all these ladies up here. He didn't have to do this. And he, like you say, he's being provided a platform himself. And here it is. He's sharing it because of the works that he believes in from you, beautiful woman on this panel. Thank you so much. Thank you, Brandon. You are amazing. You guys already know where to find me. Brandon, let them know first where to find you so I can go ahead and close this out.
All right. Follow me, of course, y'all, on Spotify, YouTube, all of the major platforms. But you can also reach me at Twitter at Rep B McGee, also on Instagram _BLMJ_. And as always, until next time, peace, and I love you.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Keep it locked. Don't go nowhere. It's your girl, Shay McCray.